The Taming of Coyote, Chapter 17. Sonia pulled the clothes from the line. She folded them neatly and put them away. She swept Coyote's home and front walkway, if one could call it that. The snow was falling steadily and resting undisturbed outside. It was beautiful. Even at a large quantity, the flakes fell steadily and slowly. Perhaps it wouldn't be long before she could build a snowman. Maybe Coyote would like to build it with her. Ezra would be no help. In fact, he'd probably take great delight in knocking it down with his clumsy bulk. The growls and snarls came from outside. Sonia peered out of the kitchen window to see Ezra and Coyote galloping through the snow, a large kill being carried between them. They playfully argued over it, tugging and growling. It was amusing to watch, and Ezra was no match for the mighty Coyote. Sonia rushed to the door. Her ankle was healed now, and she had regained full mobility. She opened it so that Coyote would not have to change forms to manipulate it. She invited herself to help drag the dead animal, at least what was left together, into the house. "Sonia, let me help. I'll cook something for you." Ezra barked happily and chased his tail a few times. Coyote shook the snow from his fur. "You don't have to go through the trouble. You're my guest." "I insist," Sonia declared as she struggled to pull the kill along. "A guest stays a few weeks. I've been here 2 months. I want to earn my keep." Coyote knew better. As soon as she had healed months ago, he should have taken her home. However, there was so much about Sonia that brought back fond memories of Lorraine. He didn't really want her to leave. But what did she want? What would he do with her? Sonia was Sonia. Sonia wasn't Lorraine. Sonia often had similar arguments with herself. The more time that she had spent with Coyote, the less she feared him, the less she could believe the term devil could ever be applied to him, the less she wanted to go home. Coyote's existence was so simple out here, yet with enough enjoyment in life to keep things interesting. He was in complete harmony with the woods and the animals in it. Was this what she had been missing? Been looking for? In turn, there was so much tension, so many silly rules and beliefs, so much to fear. Coyote and Ezra were far better company than the masses of superstitious human beings like Lord Grundle. "Why don't we do it together?" Sonia suggested. "That way, neither of our feelings will be hurt." "Ah, that would be good," he replied with a nod. "Definitely a good compromise." The pair worked quite well together. It brought them both a sense of pleasure. Ezra was much like the impatient child to a pair playing house. He pranced back and forth from the pair to the door. It was just a little snow, no reason to waste a perfectly good day outside. "Ezra, do you have to go again?" Sonia laughed. "He wants to play in the snow," Coyote revealed. He often had to play translator for the two. He's not used to having to stay indoors for any length of time. Out there is his natural habitat. It doesn't register to him that it might just be too cold for a human being. "If I had a coat, outside would be great." "Why do you call him Ezra?" Coyote asked as he dried his hands. That question seemed to come out of the blue, and it took Sonia a moment to catch up. "What is his real name?" she asked back. The names of animals are impossible for humans to pronounce. You do not have the tongue. I suppose I was just curious. He seems to like the name you chose for him. He responds respectfully. I aided him in his time of need, and he has aided me again and again in mine. Ezra seemed perfect. What about you? What is your real name?" Coyote glanced at her. He studied her smirk a moment. "Why do you ask?" "Well, if you are as old as you claim, you must obviously predate English. Do not the natives of this land have a name for you? Does not nature have a name for you?" "You are quite keen," he chuckled. "I have had many names over my long life. Every tongue has one for me. Many are so ancient that even the oldest of trees does not remember them. You must remember, This is a new world to you and your people, but to me, I have seen it change, shrink, and grow for centuries upon centuries. This land has always been here, and so have I. What is relevant is that, in your tongue, I am Coyote." He left her suddenly. She dried her hands and wondered what he was up to. Ezra barked and seemed to run in place. Somehow he just knew this involved the opportunity to go outside. Coyote returned with an odd coat. It was lined in layers of deerskin, and on the outside a bushy coat of coyote fur. "This should help keep you warm, Sonia." "Coyote fur!" she gasped. "Relax. Sometimes animals fall. Waste not, want not, right? I do not need these things. It would suit you better." "Is it Lorraine's?" she asked. "Hers became tattered a long time ago," he admitted. "This is a spare I have made. It has no owner, unless you would like it for yourself. I can promise you, by even your God, that you will never go cold in this coat." Sonia blushed at the beautiful garment. She ran her hands along the smooth inner lining, then over the soft fur. It was so pleasant to the touch. "I would love it." "Then it is yours," he told her. "Hurry, Ezra is growing restless." Coyote was speaking the truth. The coat kept Sonia warm and cozy in the cold and snowy outdoors. It didn't matter how cold the chill of wind came. She was as snug as she could be by a crackling fire. For his age and appearance, Coyote was quite swift as a human. After the much-anticipated snowman, he crouched down. Sonia was a bit curious about this and peered around the snowman to try and get a better look. In an instant, she was smacked with a snowball. It seemed to stun her at first. His wild laughter is what finally brought her back into reality. "He threw a snowball!" Quickly, she snatched up a handful of snow. The battle was on. Ezra had no interest in snowball fights, per se. At least, he had no interest in the battle aspect of it. Instead, with every snowball thrown, it was much like a game of monkey in the middle. He would make chase, and if caught, eat and spit out the cold mass. If Sonia threw, he would run towards Coyote. If Coyote threw, he would run towards Sonia. Sure enough, he was able to snatch one once in a while, right out of the air. Overall, he enjoyed the game. He was a bundle of energy, after all. The opportunity to run and run and run was a dream come true. As well, it provided ample entertainment for Coyote and Sonia. They were not alone. Growing tired of throwing snowballs, they decided to focus their attention on Ezra. Up came a stick, and off it was thrown. Ezra was all too happy to fetch. However, the attention Coyote paid to Ezra alone was not sitting well with onlooking eyes that grew jealous. Soon other coyotes flew from the woodwork, so to speak, to join in this merry game with their comrades and master. And among the pack, what game would be complete without friendly competition? "How could I ever be content with my life if I ever had to leave this behind?" she thought. She couldn't even remember the last time she had smiled so much. She also couldn't remember the last time she had laughed so frequently and freely. Coyote made her happy. Bewitched? No, she just couldn't see it. Coyote may have possessed great magic, but his kindness was no spell. How could a man so kind be considered a devil by turn? That sort of personality, it was enough to really leave an endearing impression. He was becoming beautiful, even if he never changed. The beauty within, that silver lining to the cloud that was Coyote, it made her look past everything she would see at first glance, with the poison that had clouded her observation originally. Now she could understand why Lorraine wouldn't have wanted to give him up. There were not many men in the world that could make a girl feel the way that Coyote made her feel, and be genuine about it. She let out a gasp when she realized that it was snowing again. It came down, much like it had earlier, only now it seemed to dance. "It's so beautiful out here," she said absently. "There are many wonders out here that human eyes have long since forgotten to see," Coyote admitted. He reached out a hand, and a snowflake seemed to hover over it. At a second glance, Sonia couldn't even find a breath as she realized it was not a snowflake. It was something like a pixie. A little white pixie hovered over Coyote's hand, touching his palm with its tippy toe. It was naked and ambiguous, so Sonia couldn't tell if it was a boy or girl pixie. "Oh, Coyote, it's so beautiful!" The other kin are mostly in hibernation now. These are some of the few that thrive in the cold winter months. In a world that has banished fantasy in favor of blind faith in God, many of these creatures go unseen by eyes trained to forget. Isn't it ironic? You are told to believe in something you can't see at all. Yet, when the innocent and pure are able to see, they are told to ignore. "Do you then have a qualm against God?" Sonia asked. "No, it's not God that I'm angry with. In many ages I have seen pantheons come and go. This God of yours, he does not bother me. He is just another face and name of many that I have heard in my lifetime. And in the time since he has come here, I have grown to know him well. My qualm is with humanity. Human beings can take the words of gods and twist them to brainwash masses and create a world of zombie slaves in the name of a false prophet. I grow angry with humans who abuse a god, be it yours or anyone else's, in order to make them more than they truly are. They will forever hide behind that shroud until they are finally exposed and no longer have it to hide behind." He raised his hand, sending the pixie on its way. Sonia held out her hands, merely for curiosity. The snowflakes that were the pixies seemed to spin about them, never touching the ground. This was amazing. She had missed such wonderful things in the name of Lord Grundle's fear. How simple things were, and how complicated they seemed at home. And no reason had ever been given. By the sound of it, Lord Grundle's accusations seemed so unfounded. This peace, it was a slice of heaven.